This is one of the most interesting flights I have ever taken. Today, join me as I fly China's lowest ranked long-haul airline in business class for almost 9 hours. Just how disappointing is the experience, or perhaps more relevantly, how inaccurate are rating systems for airlines? Come along as I try olive juice, quite the experience, test out this airline's in-flight beauty treatments, and struggle to pronounce the airline name correctly the entire video.
Xiamen?
Xiamen. Is this the Temu of the skies or a precious gem in disguise? Through a confusing loophole, I'm also flying first class on a business class ticket, making everything all the more unique. I'm Dan. I've flown over 200 different airline premium products on my own dime to give you the most honest, unfiltered airline videos possible, so come along for the ride. No, I mean it. Strap in. We are heading to China. Let's start by establishing which ranking I'm going off when I say that Xiamen is China's lowest ranked airline. This is based on Skytrax 2025 ranking of Chinese airlines, which puts Xiamen as the lowest ranking long-haul airline since Chengdu doesn't have any wide bodies, so they don't count for these purposes. China Eastern ranks quite high here, as you can see, and even China Southern, Xiamen's majority shareholder, ranks higher. So is this rating accurate, considering it's coming from the same company that named Paris Charles de Gaulle the best airport in Europe and made Lufthansa a 5-star airline? Well, that's what we're trying to find out. Today's adventure starts in Doha, Qatar, where Xiamen Airlines operates 2 routes. One from Beijing on their Boeing 787-9 and one from Xiamen on their Boeing 787-8. Both of these flights are operated in partnership with Qatar Airways, meaning Qatar Airways pays Xiamen Airlines to operate these routes on their behalf, similar to how they partner with Finnair and Malaysia Airlines, among others. While you can book your flight either through Xiamen or through Qatar, I ended up booking our tickets through the latter today. Good morning from Doha Hamad Airport, where I am about to fly China's lowest ranked long-haul airline. I have no idea what to expect, but surely it can't be that bad. Since we booked a Qatar Airways ticket, we would have access to the Al-Morjan Lounge. We do have access. I don't really think we have time to go there. We have 30 minutes until boarding. Instead, we're gonna prioritize getting some good food we can bring on board as a backup, because who knows how the catering is gonna be today. I am a bit nervous, but it's Doha's catering. It's Doha's time to shine, so let's see how good the catering is. I booked the Xiamen flight through Qatar Airways with a Qatar Airways flight number, which changes things because you can do Qatar Airways business class check-in, although I went to the Xiamen desk to get a Xiamen boarding pass as a souvenir, which is cool. You can also use their priority security, the business class line, and all that. So you get quite a few perks, but the price is also higher, a lot higher, if you book through Qatar Airways instead of Xiamen. I have a lot of interesting things to say about this. So why on earth would I book through Qatar Airways if it's more expensive? Well, hold on and I'll tell you. We stock up on some food at Evergreen Organics ahead of this long flight and then make our way straight to the gate Charlie 86. Although this is a Qatar Airways marketed flight, don't expect a separate business class bus like you'd get when flying with Qatar Airways. What you can expect though is the same awesome views of wide body upon wide body, and 15 minutes later we are pulling up to our sleek Boeing 787-8. All right, let's do this. Woo! Let's go to Xiamen. Now, spoiler alert, this bird is unlike any other 787-8 in the world. Why? It features economy like all others. It features business in a 222 layout, what I thought I'd be flying, but then it also features a single row of first class in a 1-to-1 config. Here is where it gets interesting, because Oscar and I were only given the option of choosing seats in row 1 when we booked through Qatar. In other words, we had no choice but to select seats in first class, specifically 1 Alpha and 1 Delta. How and why and OMG, I'll explain it all later. First class has a dedicated lavatory for just 4 passengers, while their actual business class cabin has 2 lavatories for 18 passengers for a great ratio of 1:9. Long story short, I paid for business class, I wasn't upgraded, but I'm actually seated in first class. What surprises me is that not only does the seat end up being first class, but as you're about to see, the soft product is as well. So let's board this bad boy. Business class is, in one word, blue. I'd be blue if I had to sit here too. I'm joking, but what have we here? Our fearless meets red first class. For a second, everything is overwhelming because our adorable, stunning, attentive first-class flight attendant Lee Fun, yes, that was her actual name, springs into action faster than a Gen Alpha toddler yeeting a Labubu plush across the airport because it wasn't the pink one. She immediately starts lifting up our bags that are so heavy they could be filled with gold bars into the overhead lockers. So fast we don't have time to stop her, and then she whips out a tray with a hot towel. We're like, Lee Fun, slow down, you shouldn't be doing all this. This is China's lowest rated airline? The second we sit down, she's giving us a tour of our seats and proceeds to unwrap our slippers and place them by our feet, all while kneeling to be at our level the entire time. All right, welcome on board, you guys. I am blown away already. This is bringing me back to flying China Southern last year when the service was just on a level that you truly almost don't see anywhere else and that you don't expect. As soon as we got on board, the crew jumped into action, and they were doing this for everyone, not just for us. This little woman was insisting before we could even settle in. She was lifting up our bags, putting them in the overhead lockers, our heavy bags. I was like, oh my gosh, careful. But she was just so fast. Then brought us a choice of water or orange juice. The menu took our orders, guided us through some things on the menu, told us what she recommended, kneeling throughout every interaction. It is truly 5-star service, amazingly. So let me show you around the seat. We received pajamas, and the menu is, okay, there's a Xiamen to Doha segment and then Doha to Xiamen. The Xiamen to Doha, I think, looks a bit more interesting than Doha Xiamen, which I guess isn't so surprising, but I'm gonna walk you through the menu in a minute. Beautiful, shiny, luxurious looking menu. Oops, Oscar just told me that the announcement said it's pronounced Xiamen, not Xiamen.
I think whatever floats your boat,
yeah.
Honestly. But Xiamen?
Xiamen. Okay, let me show you around. There's quite a bit I was not expecting. Funnily enough, we get this spa steam eye mask, which I find absolutely adorable. We have our amenity kit in here. You also have a code to contact Xiamen Airlines, Wi-Fi information, awesome. Voss water, how nice is that? And then back here we have our remote and our headphones. We have a reading light up there, and then our charging port down here. So they're really showing off this Apex World class, by the way. Then down here we have our pajamas, which we'll check out. And then I want to show you, we have a massive storage compartment. So here is just a small selection of the food that Oscar and I got as a backup, but we can put really anything we want in here. And we have an in-flight magazine. Wow, the paper is thick. This is a premium magazine. It is all in Chinese, which is fair because I would say 98% of the people on board today are Chinese. So, target demographic and all. On the topics of Apex World Class, it goes to show how one rating can completely contradict another. I'm obviously biased here, but I'd say a YouTube review is far better at conveying the quality of an experience than a rating from a for-profit organization. As we push back, I'm getting comfortable in the sense that what I initially felt was giving Chinese grandparents' living room is actually a very interesting cultural teaser for China. I'm really starting to enjoy the color choices and the art because it feels like a cultural experience. A lot of my favorite airlines incorporate cultural experiences on board, and oftentimes I think that can be more fun than just trying to go for generic luxury. During our taxi, the purser comes by to welcome us on board, kneeling again just like Lee. He tells me, when we land, we have typhoon, so please fasten your seatbelt. Then he turns to Oscar and adds, sir, please don't be frightened. 20 minutes after pushback, we are blasting past the Doha skyline and turn toward the UAE, Oman, India, Bangladesh, Myanmar, Laos, and eventually China. Not a bad distance, a number of countries to cover in just over 8 hours. And traveling to all those countries is made oh so easy with today's video sponsor, the eSIM company Saily, which provides you with affordable mobile data in over 200 countries and territories, making it easy to get connected in just a few taps. You just download the Saily app, you choose where you want to go, whether it's a country or a whole region, select the amount of data you want, install the eSIM, and voila, you are good to go for a fraction of the price that you would pay with your roaming partner in your home country or to buy local data wherever you're traveling. Saily also makes it so easy to connect. You install the eSIM once and then you're good to go. No installing new ones. You can just keep topping that one up wherever you're traveling to. I love using Saily when I'm going to China because they also have a built-in VPN. Saily is actually from the same company that makes NordVPN, so they have all types of amazing security features integrated with the eSIM, so when you're using their data, you know that your data is safe. Take the headache and cost out of traveling with one of my favorite travel tools by going to saily.com/nonstopdan or by scanning the QR code right here, and use code NONSTOPDAN to save 15% on your first Saily eSIM. I am absolutely famished. I have no idea why, but I'm very happy we managed to bring some food from the terminal, one of our favorite terminal restaurants in the world, Evergreen Organics. So I got some protein oats. We got 3 different dishes, so we didn't exactly go light, but I'm gonna start with these because they're hot. We just took off about 10 minutes ago. Seatbelt sign is still on, so waiting for the service to begin, and excited to see. Sorry, so awkward for OSKAR to be there. Okay, next up on the pre-meal service mukbang, I've got a chocolate smoothie bowl. So more chocolate, but this, I know this is really, really delicious, so I'm excited for this. We're having fun, we're settling in, we're eating. After discovering that many first-class passengers don't actually eat on board or bring their own food, I've embraced that lifestyle because I'd much rather have food I know will have good nutritional value than rely entirely on what an airline can deliver, with just a few exceptions. Since we're on the topic of food, I'm excited to share our menu, starting with Xiamen to Doha. Obviously, this isn't valid for us, I just think it's good intel for you guys to have if you'll be flying the route in reverse. A red bean Danish is something I never thought I'd see, but sounds delicious. Funnily, this and a red bean dessert are also part of the Western meal. For the pre-landing meal in Doha, you'll be served stable food. So basically anything that's not jelly, I guess? Ironically, unstable sago jelly is served for dessert. Haha. So now for our flight, Doha to Xiamen, stable food has been replaced by staple food, which makes a lot more sense now. The pre-landing meal, as always, sounds way more interesting than the breakfast, especially this Chinese set. In terms of drinks, I love that they put the tasting notes under the wines, and I also like that they have quite a few cocktails. That is surprisingly not too common. And finally, the soft drinks, which include olive juice. We are gonna have to try that. Poor Lee Fun Fun is moving at maglev speed, so our meal is served as soon as I'm done with all that stuff I was eating just 30 minutes after takeoff. I'm glad I had those other dishes, but unlike those dishes, the presentation here, specifically the tableware, is breathtaking. Can we take a moment to appreciate the pattern on these plates? Not a reason anyone has ever booked an airline, but someone put thought into this, so props to them. For dessert, OSKAR and I get 2 plates of fruit. Yes, 2 plates of the same thing, but funnily, OSKAR and I get very different fruits, although we pre-ordered the same meal, but we have the same fruits on both of our plates. The accompanying yogurt, which is Qatar quality, apparently, is made from water and sugar. Once again, Lee is dashed from the Incredibles because it takes less than a minute after we finished eating for her to entirely prepare the bed. I guess I shouldn't be surprised given the service I had last year on China Southern, but today's crew outshines most airlines in first class. So I just have to show you here that the mattress, there's not only a little mattress pad, but we have a sheet, which I don't think I've ever seen a separate sheet to the mattress pad. You can tell how wide this bed is, and my goodness, this is so plush and cozy. Ooh. The bed, what can I say? Without a doubt, the best bed I've had on a business class ticket. All right, there's no better time than the present to tell you why I'm a bit confused, but why I feel very, very fortunate. Because as I lay here in my first class bed, I reflect on the fact that I did not pay for first class. I bought a business class ticket. So as you saw during boarding, there is an entirely different cabin behind this in a 222 configuration, standard, very calm home in business class around the world. But then here we have one row of what is first class, and they've very clearly differentiated the soft product. Everything is elevated. The service is remarkable. I'm sure the service is remarkable in business as well, to be fair. But Oscar and I ended up here completely by accident. The thing is, I was eyeing booking a cash ticket on Xiamen, I'm so sorry, this is never going to be right. Xiamen, from Doha to Taipei, which is my final destination. But then in the end, I realized that it was actually going to be cheaper if I just redeemed Qatar Airways Avios for the ticket instead. But then I would be booking Qatar Airways code shares. So I booked under a Qatar Airways flight number. It was the exact same flight. It said business class. It was a business class points price when I paid. Unfortunately, it doesn't get me all the way to Taipei, but that's fine. So it started to confuse me. Before booking, I checked the Qatar Airways seat map and it said 121. So I was like, okay, yeah, reverse herringbone. Xiamen Air has that on their 787. This photo here was what I was expecting. A reverse herringbone business cabin. The thing that confused me a bit was that the cabin just had one row, but I figured similar to what Qatar Airways does on Finnair, where they block a certain number of rows to people booking on a Qatar Airways flight number, and the rest of the rows are available to people booking directly with Finnair under a Finnair flight number. I figured that was what they were doing here as well. I was a bit confused when I did check the business seat map for Xiamen and I saw it was 222, but I figured this is probably just an error. I assume Qatar Airways has not got the correct seat map, and in the end it's going to be 222 with Qatar as well. Go figure. Apparently I don't know everything about every airline. I've never flown Xiamen before, so don't blame me. I knew they had reverse herringbones in business, but I realized I didn't actually know what their 787-8 was like inside. Turns out it has first class, and that was confirmed when I had to call Qatar Airways to book my seat, and then they said all that's available is row 1. It is 121, and then I figured it out. I went to check what the configuration of this aircraft actually is, and Qatar Airways gives you a first class seat when you book a business class ticket with a Qatar Airways flight number on Xiamen. But what I really didn't expect was a different soft product, a first class soft product as well. So really, this is quite a win, because if you're flying to Xiamen or to China from Europe or from anywhere where you can get a Qatar flight in business from Europe and then connect to Xiamen, you will end up being in first class for the price of business with a first class soft product, which is pretty insane. Why do they do this? I'll explain my theory at the end of the video. Now back to the review. Alright, I just have to show you guys that another area where Xiamen is shockingly premium is the headphones. We have Bose headphones on board. I mean, yes, I know we're technically in first class, and yes, I know I technically paid for business class. So that considered, getting Bose quiet comfort is pretty amazing. Our amenity kit is very exciting to me. This feels like a bit of a treasure trove, I must say. It has magnets, which I love. So it closes like this magnetically, and then at the top, it's also secured with a magnet in the middle. We have a zipper on the back. I can see this being quite a useful, reusable bag, but it's what's inside that is truly where the fun lies. Let me show you. Mouthwash, one of the most underrated things an airline can offer. Toning mist, lip balm, skin balm, 2 of these eye masks. So the one we received during boarding, and then another steam eye mask, so we can really steam it up here with the Relieve Eye Fatigue, an eye mask down here, like different type of eye mask, earplugs, comb, and dental kit. Voila. And then this is almost the best part. Guys, you're gonna crack up. Temple Spa was originally created in the Mediterranean region, West Sussex, England. Famously part of the Mediterranean region.
I guess the closest to that being true is that if they're referring to like Malaga or something, which is basically like a British colony or something like that.
Who knows what they mean? If you understand, let us know. So what is the food and beverage sitch on this flight? Well, so far I've been having coconut water to drink. Classic. Don't need to tell you how that tastes. Love having that on board. Now I'm trying the Shuning Mountain Black Tea. Wow. Tastes like a mix between black tea and buckwheat tea, which is very interesting. I'm going to be trying a bunch of different teas from the menu. I'm sure you're all like, dang, we're not here to watch a tea review. But if you're British, if you're from the Mediterranean region, especially in West Sussex, I'm sure you'll really appreciate my tea review. I'll be trying to show you some of the different meal options that are not part of my special meal, aka fruit, a little later on in the flight as well. By the way, I might also have to take home for the team and try olive juice, because you let me know, but I've personally never seen olive juice in the grocery store aisle before. Drinking tea means you'll eventually need to pee. I'm a poet, don't feel too intimidated by my talent, please. So you might need to use the toilet, which has been spruced up a bit by Qatar Airways, I suspect. Why do I say that? Because we have the addition of a deep teak car freshener or something. Anyway, these lavatories are of course kept spotless by our amazing crew. There's so much that is just blowing my mind about this airline. When I went to go to the bathroom, almost every time the crew has opened the lavatory door for me, and then when you come out, they offer you a hot towel after you've been to the toilet every time. I've never experienced that in first class on any airline. Before we get into the real fun, trying olive juice and our steaming eye mask, Oscar the geography nerd has some fun facts for you. Alright, Oscar has something he's been dying to show you guys.
It's just, I want your reaction to this because I think this is so cool. I did some research, right? Now we're heading to Xiamen, and it is a city of about 5.1 million people. It is not in the top 10 of cities in China. It is not in the top 20 of cities in China. It is the 23rd biggest city in China. Later on this trip, we're going via Hainan, which is this really cool island south of China, and we're transiting in Haikou. And Haikou is a city of about 2.25 million people. It is the 56th largest city in China. China is crazy.
Yeah, this is so cool. So to think that, what was this, 23rd?
Yeah.
The 23rd biggest city in a country can have like a vast long-haul network with its own airline that has first. Wow.
And the airline is literally named after the city. Like, there aren't that many cities in the world with an airline named after them. So the fact that the 23rd largest one in a country can have that is insane.
23rd biggest in Sweden, like Alingsås Airlines. We offer one cabin, it is called the bus. Okay, olive juice time. All right, I've secured the goods. Olive juice. I feel like people who like certain cocktails are already used to olive juice, right? I just realized that. Of course, it comes in the biggest glass I've seen in my life. Stunning, elegant glass, by the way. Listen. ASMR. It smells so hard to describe. It smells like olive. No, it doesn't. It smells like peach juice, apricot juice. Whoa. So I love olives. This tastes nothing like olives, luckily, because although I love eating olives, I don't know if I love drinking olives. This is really nice. It's sweet. It's very light. I am so surprised at how much I like this. Is olive juice my new thing? Imagine you pull up on United or something and you go, "Excuse me, I know you have apple and orange, but do you have olive?" Yeah, it's a sweet, slightly floral, acting like I know this stuff, fruity taste. Yeah, it tastes like a fruit juice. Let me have Oscar taste it to tell you what it tastes like. Poor guy, the things he has to endure traveling with me. I woke him up with olive juice. I literally was like, "Oscar."
I'm trying to make up my mind about it. Let me have another sip. I'm trying to figure out what it tastes like. It doesn't really taste like anything I know, but it's a little citrusy, but also kind of guava-ish. Yeah, something like that. It's not bad.
As you can tell, Oscar is also rocking the pajamas. Alright, so it's about time for Oscar to change into his pajamas / prison uniform, possibly. So let's do The Sims. Actually, it's really not bad. I kind of like it.
I love how they give like anyone who's not Chinese an XL, but
it's a vibe. I think it's cute. So the question is, how does it feel?
It is very comfy. It's very thick. Like the fabric is super thick. I'm wondering if it's going to get very hot. It feels very soft and just feels luxurious, I must say.
And by the way, speaking of it getting hot, there are no individual air vents, so keep that in mind. In the spirit of relaxing, since you can tell we're having so much fun, it is steamy eye mask time. Okay, it's been about another hour and a half or so. We are just approaching Bangladesh, and it is bumpy, but I figured the UV index is low enough now that I don't worry about out my sunscreen anymore. I'm gonna do a spa steam eye mask and relax. It's also dry. I don't know why my skin is like super dry, so I'm gonna try this. I don't usually review this stuff, but I think it is interesting because sometimes I've used it off camera and I'm like, this stuff is horrible. So let's see. Smells very, very nice. So there you go. The Mediterranean Temple Spa is doing its thing. I'm going to try this one, not the mask that was in the amenity kit. So if you're not interested in this stuff, just enjoy it for the ridiculousness. This is part of the experience of flying a Japanese or I guess Chinese airline in this case. Japanese airlines are also famous for giving eye masks. That's why I say it. Take out the eye mask, hang it over ears with deep notch downwards. Am I supposed to do something now? I just feel like I'm wearing cotton on my face. I've never done one of these before. Oh, it heats up after being unpacked, keeping warm at around 40 degrees for 25 minutes and releases gentle steam. Okay, perfect. Love you. Bye.
20 minutes later.
Ta-da! I'm new, I'm fresh, and I've been reborn. This, although it's quite kind of gimmicky, it's also incredibly relaxing. I wish more airlines had this. I just put it on and I was like transported off the plane. I was just super relaxed. It was amazing. 20 minutes of this. The lovely crew thought I had fallen asleep, so they were shutting the window shades and OSKAR was like, no! So then I came back out of it, but nice. What else can we find that's fun? Okay, another tea type time from my Barrett's. This is the Emperor something something tea. The last one on the menu. Ooh, it smells amazing. Wow. Very... I don't want to pretend I can describe stuff like this. I ain't no master chef, but very different from the last one. Very Chinese tasting, which I love. I love Chinese tea. So it's fun to just be able to try all these different ones, right? I think we've spent enough time on the quirky elements of Xiamen Air, so let's get back to business, or should I say first? So we have free Wi-Fi on board, and we have these different, we can do premium cabin access, Wi-Fi authentication, or purchase Wi-Fi plan. Let's see what happens if I click purchase Wi-Fi plan, just so you guys can see what the pricing is like. I cannot get over this. Egret Club, Egret TV. It's just missing an R and it's regret. So you have unlimited surfing and then unlimited surfing ultra pass for audio and video. That's interesting, but the prices are very high in my opinion. I think this is around $35 US, but let's go back here and see what other fun stuff they have. They have Xiamen Air Mall. They have shopping. So let me see here. Whoa, airplane model. Wait, where is English? They might not have English, but let's see what we can figure out about this model then. At least let's try to see the scale. Scale 1/150. So this is a massive model of a 787 for just 250 RMB on board. That is incredible. In addition to all that fun, we are lucky to be offered egret video, not regret video, which is what I call every video I published before 2021. To be realistic with you guys, I know most of you don't speak Mandarin, so Hollywood it is. And as far as Chinese airlines go, this selection really isn't shabby. Life of Pi, Grand Budapest Hotel, The Secret Life of Walter Mitty, Green Book, The Dark Knight, all options I would not mind rewatching at all this minute. In overseas movies, I like that we have non-American films, including Scandinavian ones. Finally, TV series is, well, it's there. To be honest, if I didn't eat again today, I'd be fine, but our pre-landing meal awaits. My appetizer is some vegetables on a bed of hummus, surprisingly tasty. Pre-landing meal time. I've got the Longxing tea this time. Served very differently. Ooh, smells amazing. Smells like green tea, sort of. Got another hot towel on a tray. Nice, nice. And whatever this is, some very nice looking breads. I asked for a look at the regular Chinese starter from the menu, which turns out to be a bit of a jump scare. After that, my main looks practically Michelin star. This main course is incredibly exciting. We've got some braised tofu in what looks like a chili sauce with fried rice and a side of some sort of soy eggplant. Let me try this first, the eggplant. Whoa, the flavors. hands down, by far the best meal I have ever eaten on a Chinese airline. This is amazing. I would be happy about this in a restaurant. Finally, for dessert, gelato. I mean, is this first class looking? I don't know. But who cares besides me? Time to be frightened because we are about to land into a typhoon. Except the weather is great and our approach is smooth. All good until I realize our connection to Taipei has been torpedoed by the MIA typhoon. Our flight tomorrow morning is cancelled. The lot is hinging on this, so let's see what the solution is. There's business on China Airlines for quite a bit more, but I don't think we have a choice. So we were supposed to fly Xiamen for 10,000 points, and now at least this exists, and it gives us more time to sleep, so maybe that's positive. We get through immigration and to our hotel quite quickly and easily. This is the beautiful Langham Xiamen for $75 a night. Good value, just like Xiamen Airlines. Now quickly, as I show you this beautiful hotel, first of all, I'm 99.9% sure that if you ever book Qatar Airways to Xiamen, but you actually have a flight number that starts with 55, so in this case QR5576, whether it's with points like I used today or cash, you will end up in a first class seat rather than business. And I suspect that is because Xiamen knows they won't sell first class on this route. Qatar Airways knows that they won't really sell first class on this route. So Qatar, which charges much more for these tickets than for Xiamen on the same flight, figures why not just put our customers in first class since we claim to be the world's best airline and give them a truly exceptional experience even if they're flying with our partners. I think that's pretty freaking cool and a great way for people to experience something like this at business class rates. All right, actually first let's tell you what happened. We landed, I had an email all in Chinese, was the first thing I saw. Luckily, I was like, let me translate this. I got a bunch of emails from Xiamen about our flight tomorrow, which is on a separate ticket in economy just to Taipei. And luckily I translated that because it said, by the way, your flight is canceled due to the typhoon, which the purser was talking about when we were pushing back. But there is no typhoon. The weather is good.
Checked it on literally all the weather apps and we're like, what typhoon?
Yeah.
There is no typhoon in existence.
There's a note in the lobby of our hotel that says there is a typhoon, so I'm sure it's there somewhere. We just hope that the flight I rebooked on, which miraculously there was a word space just 3 hours later than we were supposed to fly on China Airlines, so I managed to rebook that. It was $240 more, which sucks, but we're getting where we need to go anyways. So hopefully that doesn't get canceled. What do we think about Xiamen Air?
I thought it was cozy. Honestly, I mean, at least our cabin, it felt like being at home with some like Chinese auntie or something, your favorite Chinese grandmother. It wasn't luxurious, but I would still prefer it over certain European airlines who think they're more chic than anyone else. So,
the shade. So I think the takeaway from this video is airline ratings are BS. You can't trust systems like this that rank one airline over the other, because although Xiamen is the lowest ranking long-haul Chinese airline, this was by far the best flight overall we've ever taken on a Chinese airline.
Yep.
So the point is, don't trust that, especially, I think just in general. I knew that Xiamen is supposed to be quite good, yet the ranking says they're bad. So that puts into question the airlines at the bottom of the list. What about the airlines at the top? For example, Hainan, the #1 airline on their Skytrax rankings for China, are they the best? Are they that much better than Xiamen? That's what my next video will find out, because we'll be flying China's best airline and see how it compares to this. So quickly, how much did I pay for this flight? I paid around $1,100, which is a huge saving if you compare to booking this ticket in cash through Qatar Airways. And there's no other way to book this flight in first class and have this amazing experience of trying olive juice and doing a steamy eye mask. And how can you learn to do it in a matter of days or even quicker? You can join my Points Master program, where I have taught over 1,000 people just like you how to go from beginner to expert in buying and using points wherever they live in the world. No need to sign up for credit cards. You can save between 20 and 80 or 90% on premium cabin flights using the tricks I teach, so that you never have to be crammed in an economy seat again. So this is your reminder. I'm sure you've heard me talk about it before, but now is a better time than ever to sign up for PointsMaster because I've just added all types of amazing new chapters, like how to get Singapore Airlines first class for a fraction of the price, starting from zero, starting with no points, and without needing to sign up for credit cards. So scan the QR code right here or go to the link below to check that out. And until I see you for the Hainan Airlines review, as we explore whether China's best ranked airline actually is the best, as always, fly safe.